Thank you for coming this evening. We're ready to start the police district meeting. If you're interested in talking about the police district, if you want to come down toward the front, that would be awesome. So for those of you who are online, thanks again for joining. If you can keep yourself muted, and if you would like to speak, or you could put a note in the chat. If you'd like to speak, please wait to be recognized by myself or one of the other board members that are here. All right, so we have a public forum. We have about 5 minutes per person for public forum. Is there anything this evening that folks would like to bring to our attention? Yep. Sure. All righty. Is that better? Okay. So I'm not seeing anything for public forum. So the annual police district meeting, public information meeting. Valerie, how do we want to start?
Well, I think when we had the meeting last week, we pointed out the police department's report in the annual report and where their budget is and their capital replacement plan, if anybody had any questions about that. So that's how we did it last time.
Okay. Are there any questions about the report? Not hearing any, not seeing any. Bruce, is there anything you'd like to add or let folks know about?
Well, we appreciate the support that we continue to receive. So currently, the police department, we have 3 full-time police officers. Am I too close to something here?
I think you're good.
Okay.
He's adjusting.
Okay. So we have 3 full-time police officers, myself, Sergeant Andrew Graham, and Officer Francis Smith. We have 3 part-time police officers that help fill some of the shifts. That's Logan Young, Matthew Tatro, and Matthew Collins. The increases that we have this budget were due to an increase in some of our insurance cost, increase to negotiated wages, and just overall increase in cost of living.
Thank you. Any questions? Either in the room or online? Not hearing any. Should we give it another moment and see if anybody clicks on?
Bruce, could you, for the camera, maybe, could we, as you know, it's in the town budget for a mental health crisis counselor. Let's kind of bring the public up to the speed on where you, working with the police department, where do you see that going?
Yes, so thank you to the board for giving us the authority to create and hire for a community resource specialist position. This position would be extremely helpful for all of our calls for service that we currently go to involving non-criminal in nature calls. Many of them are mental health related. So it would be nice to have someone with some experience to assist us with that. Some of our mental health calls, we do follow-ups where every couple of weeks or every few days we check in with the person. So this would be a great resource for us moving forward, that somebody else would be there to assist us with that.
And just for clarity, that is a town employee, not just a police department employee.
Correct, yes, that's a town, Bristol town employee that works through the police department.
Right. And it was funded this year through ARPA funding.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Bruce, do you want to detail in terms of what the police department, the split between police focused work versus sort of social services work? Because it's one of the reasons why this position, the select board has voted to approve this position and use ARPA funds because of the need. Can you speak to that?
Many of our calls for service, now I don't have the exact number, but I would say 70% of our calls for service usually are dealing with somebody that is having some kind of mental health crisis or substance abuse issue. So this position would assist us in providing services to them or guiding them to get the services that they require, so there will be less need for us to respond.
Thank you.
Thanks. Did I see a hand down on the floor? Did you want to ask a question?
Yeah.
Yep. If you could use the microphone and state your name, please.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't talk right here. Yes.
That one is.
There you go.
Now it's working.
Could you state your name, please?
My name's Orion Lewis.
Thank you.
I just wanted to follow up on your discussion here about the upcoming budget and whether this person was budgeted within your upcoming budget.
The community resource position,
Yes, that's right.
that's in the town's budget. That's not in the police district budget because it's a town employee position.
It's a town employee's position because we figured that a lot of the people that the Bristol PD service here in our townspeople, but they don't necessarily live in the district. And we felt it was important to be able to service the whole town and spread the cost that way, as opposed to just on the taxpayers of the police district.
And this person would also be available to town employees if there was an issue as well.
And just to add a little bit more to that, as Darla noted, that this first year is covered through ARPA funding, even though the position hasn't been filled yet, we did an estimate in the FY 2025 budget, and we budgeted, I think, 15% of that position in the FY 25 budget.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Bruce, could you, you read it all in the paper about the soup's office maybe buying the building that you presently are occupying, a little bit of it. Could you just brief us on what our rent is and how many years left we have on that lease or our rent spot?
So in October, we signed an extension for 3 more years. And the facility expense, I think we're close to $50,000 a year.
That's rent and.
That's rent and the utilities in the building.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else want to add anything?
No, just that this budget will be voted on tomorrow by Australian ballot with the rest of your vote if you're a district resident.
Okay, not hearing any other questions and not seeing any online. I want to thank you, Bruce, for coming in. And thanks everyone for your participation in this part of the meeting. Regular business. We'll authorize a request to submit a grant application to the Vermont Department of Libraries, U.S. Treasury Capital Projects Fund.
Yes, as I noted in my report, the application is due next week, and it's open statewide. It's a pretty major funding program, and the applicants are encouraged to think big. So Frida and Katie, who is the somewhat new library director, we're working together to come up with a budget that addresses the capital needs of the building. The goal of the grant program is to ensure that public libraries remain viable and accessible to all people for the purpose of internet, to make sure that high-speed internet is available to the public. And so from their perspective, that means making sure that the building is secure and safe and sound and stable. And that, so projects could include roof repair, roof replacement, painting, HVAC improvements, ADA improvements, all kinds of interior improvements to improve comfort and privacy, anything that improves the accessibility of everybody to be able to go to the library and access public internet. So we haven't completely nailed down a scope of work yet or a budget. Hustle between now and the deadline to come up with a good proposal, if we're authorized to do so.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to apply for the grant.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And we're authorizing Ralph to write a letter of support.
The application also requires a letter of support from the select board. So I would propose that the select board authorize me to draft that on your behalf.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you, Valerie. Good luck with that grant.
Thank you.
Is there any other business, correspondence reports, correspondence received we need to know? Not hearing any. All right, we have a little over 15 minutes before town meeting starts, so we will take a little break. Thank you.
Catch a snack.
Catch a snack.